So, you're a Ford owner, huh? Well, there's a pretty common and, let's be honest, frustrating error code you might run into, P2457. But don't worry, figuring out what it is the first big step to getting it fixed. Today, we're going to break down exactly what this code is telling you and how you can solve it.
You know the feeling? You're just driving along, minding your own business, and then, bam, the check engine light pops on. You get the code reader out, and it spits back P2457. It's a confusing moment for sure, but that little code, that's where our investigation begins.
Yeah, think of that light less like a problem and more like a clue. Your vehicle is trying to tell you something specific. So today, we're going to put on our detective hats, decode that message, and figure out what's really going on under the hood.
All right, every good investigation starts with the main clue. For us, that's the code itself. So what in the world is P2457 actually trying to tell us? Okay, the official name is Exhaust Gas Recirculation Cooler System Performance. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but basically, it tells us the problem is all about how well your vehicle is cooling its exhaust gas. And there's a specific sensor, the EGR-GT12, that's the one raising the alarm.
At its heart, the problem is actually pretty simple. Your car's computer, the ECU, it has a very specific temperature it expects the exhaust gas to be after it's been cooled down. The P2457 code pops up when that EGR-T12 sensor reads a temperature that's way higher or way lower than what the computer was expecting. It's a classic case of expectation versus reality. And this is why you should care. This isn't just some random light on your dashboard. To protect the engine, your Ford might go into what's called derate mode. And you'll feel that as a major loss of power and acceleration. So, fixing this code means getting your truck's performance back where it should be.
So, to find our culprit, we've got to understand the scene of the crime. Let's take a closer look at the EGR cooler and figure out what its role is in your engine. The EGR cooler's job is simple, but it's absolutely crucial. The easiest way to think of it is like a little mini radiator, but just for your exhaust. It grabs some of that super hot exhaust gas, cools it way down, and then sends it back into the engine. This whole process lowers emissions and makes things more efficient. When that cooling process fails, well, that's when you get the temperature mismatch that triggers our code.
Okay, now that we get the system, it's time to line up the usual suspects. So what are the common culprits that could be making this error code show up in the first place?
Our investigation has boiled it down to 5 main potential causes. We're going to go through each one, starting of course with the most common and the simplest things to fix. And here they are, our 5 suspects. As you can see, the issues range from something as simple as low coolant all the way to a restriction in one of the coolers, or maybe even just a bad sensor. This table right here, this is our complete roadmap for the investigation ahead.
Now that we have our list of suspects, we can get down to business. A logical, step-by-step approach is going to be your best friend here, trust me. It can save you a ton of time and money.
This right here is the golden rule of auto diagnostics. You always want to start with the easiest and cheapest potential fixes before you start tearing things apart for the more complicated repairs.
So here's our checklist, and we put it in order from simplest to most complex. You have to start with the coolant. Is the level low? That's the super common and easy fix. If that looks good, then you move on to checking the whole cooling system for any blockages. After that, you'll want to inspect the 2 coolers. First, the charge air cooler, or CAC, and then the EGR cooler itself. And only after you've ruled out all those physical blockages or leaks, only then should you start thinking the sensor itself has failed. A bias sensor isn't totally dead. It's just reading everything wrong. And at that point, you just got to replace it.
So by following that checklist, you've basically turned a mysterious, annoying code into a clear, straightforward path to a solution. Let's do a quick recap of what we've learned and officially close this case. Here are the key things to remember. P2457 is all about a mismatch between the expected and actual temperature of your exhaust gas. It's not just a warning light, it can actually sap your engine's power. The cause is probably one of 5 things, and your best move is to follow that diagnostic checklist and always start with the simplest thing first, your coolant level.
So there you have it. You're not in the dark anymore. You've got the code, you've got the suspects, and you've got the step-by-step plan. The only question left is, are you ready to pop the hood and start your investigation? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.